Now, many homeowners are going on holiday, leaving their properties vulnerable to criminals. Let's get some tips on how to keep your home safe while you are away these holidays. Joining us via Skype is Crime Watch's Yusuf Abramjee. Yusuf, good morning, and thanks for your time, even though you are on holiday this morning, and hopefully you've done all the things you're going to tell us to do now. Okay, so earlier we spoke about people who are renting out their homes while they are out, and we spoke about the risks there. But if you're leaving your home empty and you are going away on holiday, what are the things you need to be mindful of?
Good morning, Yuveka. Well, I think first of all, it has to be said that criminals do not go on holiday. Just the other day on Crime Watch on ENCA, we interviewed a former burglar, and he made it very clear that the holiday period is a period when the criminals go on the prowl. There are some basic rules. Number one, when you go away, and if no one is staying over at your place, make sure that if you have an alarm, the alarm is working. If you have alarm beams on your property, make sure the beams are activated. And I think it's very important to remember that criminals, often before they strike Yuveka, they keep a watchful eye on your property. So, for example, in the evening, when you're away, make sure that the lights are activated, the lights are on. Also, for example, if you're getting post, make sure that the post is removed, because very often the criminals will look at your post box, and if they find mails or letters, they'll know that somebody is not at home. And also, very, very importantly, make sure that the windows are closed, especially during the evenings. These criminal gangs, for them to get access into your house is very, very easy. They just use a wire hanger, they put it through the window, open your window, gain access into your property. Just some very basic rules. If, for example, you have dogs on your property, make sure that the dogs are roaming the yard. That's often serves as a deterrent. And also, alert your neighbors, if you can trust them, by the way, and I'm sure you can trust your neighbors. Make sure that you tell them that you're not at home. If they see any suspicious activity, they can immediately alert either the neighborhood watch or the security company or the police as well.
And there's also another element to this, Yusuf, as well, is criminals are now using social media to find their targets as well. I mean, things like Facebook, where people are, posting pictures saying, I'm away from home, look where I am for holiday. How easy is it for them to track down a target through social media and things like Facebook?
Don't forget, many of these criminals, Yuveka, are often on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. So, for example, if you're going away, you post a selfie with you and your family along the beach or in a foreign country. These criminals know you are out of town, you are not at home. And that makes you vulnerable. It makes you an easy target. I know we all love selfies. We all like to post on social media. My advice is very often be alert. Try to avoid that, because it will make you a target if criminals are keeping a watchful eye on any of your social media accounts. And yes, these criminals often do their homework. We know that over the Christmas season, they're looking for your hard-earned cash. Even, for example, when you go to an ATM, and we often use the ATMs for cash, make sure that you are alert. They come to the ATM machine, and last night on Crime Watch, we were speaking to Kalyani Pillay from Sabric, the CEO. They try to distract you. They take your PIN number, and within minutes, they withdraw a few $1,000 from your ATM, from your bank account. So these criminals will try to get hold of your hard-earned cash. They'll try to rob you, make off with your cash. And even if, for example, you're on holiday, make sure that you are alert. We know pickpocketers, for example, at shopping centers, at holiday areas, are often on the prowl. And we know, unfortunately, because of the times that we live in, even if you're on holiday and you're at a shopping center and you're wearing a very expensive watch, especially the famous Rolex watches, be careful. It will make you vulnerable. They will follow you from the mall or from the restaurant. Along the way, they'll stop you, they'll rob you of your watch, and very sadly, these are the times that we are living in, and one has to be alert.
Now, Yusuf, also, if you are going away and you are leaving your house empty, and I don't want to cause paranoia or panic, but we tend to say, oh yes, I have a security company and they'll be available for me and they will take care of my house. But often, and we've seen this in the past, criminal elements try also embed themselves in these security companies.
Yes, that is a serious area of concern. We know very often that these criminals work with inside information. And yes, like we have rogue police officials, we have rogue security guards, and we've had incidents across South Africa, where very often these security guards, Yuveka, target your place. They work with the criminals. They give information. And if you don't have a trustworthy security company, it makes it very, very difficult. So just be very careful to make sure that who you alert when you go away. If you trust your security company, perhaps you can then alert them. But be very careful of also rogue security guards who often get involved in criminality and then work with the criminal syndicates when they break into your house, for example, which is a very, very worrying trend indeed.
And a very quick one before I let you get back to your holiday, Yusuf. I mean, for people who live in complexes, people who live in estates maybe, and we saw recently a trend of we have criminals actually renting out places in those estates, in those complexes, for the purpose of robbing the others who live there. Would we find that during the holidays that there might be an increase in incidents like that?
Yes, remember security estates or so-called cordoned off areas are also vulnerable. Many of these criminals live within those secured estates and they will keep an eye on your property. So if you're in a security estate, also be alert, also be on your guard. You perhaps have a false sense of security, but you are also vulnerable. And let's not forget that many of these gangs that have been arrested, Yuveka, have been found living in some of the security estates, and we know that some of these syndicates work out of the security estate. So if you're in a security estate, also just be on your guard. That's my advice.
All right, thanks very much for that advice and tips. They seem simple enough, but many of us forget them. Crime Watchers, Yusuf Abramjee.